Neil, Christmas Eve here at the Haven, how busy are you?
We've probably got around about 30 guests. I mean, some of them aren't actually sleeping here, so we've probably got about 25 are actually sleeping here, but then there's probably at least another half a dozen who are coming in, who have got a roof, but are lonely, perhaps vulnerably housed, haven't got access to food, other essentials, so they'll come in and pop in and out. So probably around 30.
But we can hear from the background, it seems to be a good atmosphere, laughter.
Yeah. Well, I think we've always tried to make it as much, it's not a home for them, obviously, but we try to make it as much of a home whilst they're here for the 10 days as we possibly can, and to try and make them feel special, really, because, I mean, for the other 51 weeks of the year, they're living hand to mouth on their own, on their wits, really. So I think it's nice for those 10 days for them to sort of feel special, really, and have people actually looking after them and waiting on them a little bit.
And you've had lots of people helping out over the last few
We've had a huge, I mean, we've got, I think it's between 250 and 300 volunteer slots, because we do 5 shifts over the 10 days. All of those slots were filled by people from Harlow before we even started.
And what exactly are they doing in their volunteer mode?
They'll do a range of things. I mean, a lot will be involved with the cooking, preparation, food preparation. We do cleaning, things like that. Obviously, if there's any problems with the bedding, we'll help with that. So it's a whole thing, really, just to make sure that the actual place is ship-shape for the whole 10 days. So cooking, cleaning, you name it, really.
And does it, in some ways, you seem to be a growth industry, which I guess you didn't want to be.
Unfortunately not. Well, it's like what I was saying to Purdy in the interview a little while ago. I mean, I think every homeless charity aspires to extinction, really. I mean, in an ideal world, Michael, we wouldn't be here, if I'm honest. And really, as you say, the fact that it's a growth industry, if it is a worry rather than something to celebrate.
So likewise, you don't like to get involved in any of the politics around society, you're just looking to 2014 and what you can do for people?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, we had Susie Stride, Robert Halfon and Councillor Palin, the chair of Harlow Council here yesterday. No, I mean, we're bipartisan. I mean, we'll campaign for the homeless as an issue, but we won't get involved really in party politics and things, because at the end of the day, both governments have been responsible for this, irrespective of party colour, if I'm honest. I mean, if we're here under a Labour administration, a Conservative administration or a coalition administration, we've had homeless across all of those, so none of them have got any sort of special leeway, really.
But when it comes to homelessness, some people expect to be able to see people sleeping in doorways or sleeping on the streets, and if they don't see that, they think there can't be any homeless. Is that a misconception?
Well, people are, I think it's hard to categorise the homeless, because it's like with any group of people, you can't categorise them. But, I mean, people, particularly in Harlow, are very wary of being visible. And I think that's half the problem, Michael, is that a lot of administrators and people in power in Harlow aren't perhaps as aware of the situation as perhaps they could be, basically because the homeless aren't visible. You know, it's not like London where you can go down Euston Road or Piccadilly and bump into people. That isn't going to happen here. People are much more reticent as homeless to make themselves visible.
So does that mean that when you're saying the hidden homeless, do you mean these people are sort of tucked away?
Yeah, or often they're what we would call vulnerably housed. So they're what we would call sofa surfing, where they'll be in a place for 2 or 3 days, put up by a friend, then the friend gets fed up with them, and they end up jumping around between different sort of friends and associates, and that by the very nature of that, they're invisible, but they actually haven't got a permanent roof.
So just to go back and it's Christmas Eve. What are you, apart from extinction, do you have hopes, plans and structures for yourselves over the next 12 months?
Well, what we've got, fortunately, for the last 6 months, what we're trying to do as far as possible, Michael, is to try and dovetail with Streets to Homes. So Streets to Homes do this wonderful service, obviously, during the working week. What we've been doing for the last 6 months is running a Sunday drop-in here to sort of dovetail that, because there's nothing for the homeless Saturday and Sunday up until June of this year. So we're running that. I think it's just to try and keep that going, and we'd like to raise more money, we'd like to raise more awareness. I mean, the donations have been phenomenal this year from both individuals and corporate donations have been, well, I mean, we're overwhelmed, if I'm honest.
And on that note, happy Christmas to you and everybody here.
Happy Christmas to you. Was that okay?